Elon Musk and President Trump is Medicare, Medicaid, the Affordable Care Act, fraud, waste, and abuse in those programs, efficiency. So I say 100% I agree. There is definitely a lot of all of that in Medicare, Medicaid, and the Affordable Care Act. But we want to be careful. Seniors and people on disability depend on these programs. Millions of people depend on the Affordable Care Act. So we want to make sure we touch this with kid gloves. Unfortunately, I did a video yesterday about Elon Musk supposedly finding billions of dollars of fraud in the Social Security Administration. There is fraud in Social Security, fraud, waste, and abuse. The system could be made more efficient. How do I know? I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country, and now in my semi-retirement, I'm helping people throughout the country make sure they get all the benefits they're entitled to, eligible for, and need, and for all things retirement, survivor, Medicaid, and all the rest of it. This is also a live Q&A. I'm going to talk about Elon Musk and what's going on with Medicare and Medicaid and the efficiency and fraud and everything like that for about another 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'm going to open it up to the floor. It looks like we already got tons of questions. I'll help you all navigate the bureaucracy and make sure you're getting everything you need. But he just did a video, or he just tweeted and said there's billions of dollars of fraud out there because of these duplicate numbers. And check out my video yesterday. There are duplicate numbers out there. There was the old system, the old electronic system, but there are not duplicate payments. The numbers are recorded through a completely separate system. It's called the Numinent. The actual payment is through the MBR, the Master Beneficiary Record. So Elon Musk, if you're listening, you're focusing on the Numinent. You shouldn't focus on that. Yes, there should, people are working under incorrect Social Security numbers and all the rest of it. Most of that time, they're going out there and, open up bank accounts and buying stuff under your Social Security number. But that's a private thing. Maybe you should focus on that. There's a lot more fraud, waste, and abuse going on, people, stealing your identities rather than, going into Social Security. People don't go into Social Security and get retirement benefits on your Social Security number. Why? Because that is controlled by the Master Beneficiary Record, and one Social Security number, one name, period, end of story. For the A record, that is. You might be looking at the C record or the B record or the D record, and if Elon Musk doesn't know what I'm talking about, maybe he shouldn't mess with Social Security in that respect. Reach out to someone that knows. But this is unfortunately perhaps the MO to reveal, expose billions of dollars of fraud, yada, 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 but it all turns out to be nothing but sound and fury and, just a kind of a nothing burger, as they used to say a few years ago, and use that as a shield to distract people so they can go in there and start cutting Social Security. And someone just said that don't stop freaking out, people. You're not going to miss a check. I disagree. People are missing checks every single day now because Social Security customer service, the staff is at a 50-year low, and that is a 100% conscious effort by politicians to break Social Security to prevent you from getting your Social Security benefits because you can't get in. Call Social Security and there's a 3 or 4 or 5 hour wait, and people say it's telework. Okay, bring everybody back to work. They're already at work, by the way. I've done several videos on this. Bring people back to work, and what you're saying is then customer service is going to be stellar again? No, that's not going to happen, because the reason is because of the 50-year low in staffing that Congress can solve it pretty quickly if they support Social Security, but they refuse to refuse to support Social Security because they want it to be broken, which makes it easier for people to go out there and say, well, it's broken anyway, it's fraud anyway, it's abuse anyway, so just go ahead and throw it away. What are we going to do with those trillions of dollars of trust fund and the money that comes in on FICA taxes on a regular basis? We'll just give those to Wall Street. That's the intent. That is the intent. So if he goes in there and he does the right thing and he gets someone that maybe knows Medicare, he obviously doesn't have anybody that knows Social Security after he did that tweet. 65,000 or 55,000, it used to be 65,000, 55,000 Social Security employees throughout the country looked at that tweet and like, oh my gosh, come on. It's like, we don't go into your house and teach you how to make rockets. They're like, okay, how about a propeller on the rocket? Wouldn't that be cool? So that's as dumb as this tweet as he made for people that know about Social Security. But anyway, but if he's going to go into Medicare and do fraud, waste, and abuse and stop it and make it more efficient, 100%, 100% big hero. You are my man if you do that, because there is a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse, and the system could be made more efficient, including Social Security being made more efficient. Call me, and I'll tell you different ways to make it more efficient. But don't, trot out these BS stories. Sorry, old Marine Corps sergeant here, so usually my wording gets a little bit more, colorful. But anyway, so bipartisan support on efficiency, fraud, waste, and abuse. But one of the solutions, I'm afraid this might be one of the solutions. If you watch the news today, then it looks as though Elon Musk is bidding for OpenAI, artificial intelligence, and how the system works in terms of stopping fraud, waste, and abuse for Medicare. So there are kind of two different systems. So original Medicare, and then you have essentially private Medicare. What's private Medicare? Medicare Advantage plans, not Medicare Supplement. When you have a Medicare Supplement plan N or G or F or whatever, then you still have original Medicare. When you opt for a Medicare Advantage plan, you've essentially given up your original Medicare. Unfortunately, you still have to pay the $185 Part B premium, but you've essentially given up your original Medicare, and now you're going to get all your health care from that particular company. And they have limited networks, and they have those prior authorizations, okay? And that is how supposedly they stop fraud, waste, and abuse. It's actually how they make more money for their companies. But anyway, that's how they supposedly stop fraud, waste, and abuse, is before you get anything, whatever service or therapy or operation or whatever the case may be, your doctor has to reach out to that company and get prior authorization. Okay? Original Medicare does not do that. Original Medicare say, hey, if your doctor says you need that surgery, you need that therapy, and it's medically necessary, I can't go in there and get a hair transplant because that's not medically necessary. But if something else, the doctor says, hey, yes, it's medically necessary, the doctor doesn't have to check necessarily with Medicare or your Medicare supplement plan. They just do it. And what happens is Medicare checks the fraud after. So if your doctor prescribe something and they've got some type of, that particular clinic has some type of scam where they're suggesting all these surgeries or whatever the case may be, then it's our job. And if you look at my YouTube video description, in the description, it has in there with the Medicare OIG. So if you suspect fraud, waste, and abuse for Medicare, please go in there and report it, because that's how it gets stopped. So Medicare, when they get reports of any type of fraud, waste, and abuse, they investigate that particular clinic or doctor or something like that, and they shut that place down and they fine them. You see it in the newspaper all the time. That person goes to jail, has to pay millions of dollars restitution and all the rest of it. So that's how original Medicare does it, is they say, hey, if your doctor says you need it, we'll go ahead and believe them. But if we find out different, then we're going to shut that place down and throw them in jail or whatever the case may be. With Medicare Advantage, they do it beforehand. So they said, okay, well, before the doctor does this, you have to get authorization. And then once we give you authorization, we may or may not give you authorization. A lot of people have to fight that. If you get denied for some type of prior authorization, appeal, appeal, appeal. So that's how they do it. But you probably heard there was a giant scandal within the last 12, 18 months of particular companies using artificial intelligence to make those decisions. What is supposed to happen, according to CMS regulations, is your doctor requests a prior authorization for whatever surgery, and that insurance company is supposed to have an actual doctor, supposedly, that is in that specialty. You're not going to get a podiatrist trying to approve a back surgery, but a particular doctor is supposed to sign off that and approve it or deny it. What we saw happening within the last 12 or 18 months is some of these companies are just running it through an artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence is only as smart as you program it to be. And so a lot of people were being denied by AI, these computer systems, these robots essentially. And Medicare said, no, you CMS, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, says you can't do that. Elon Musk has put that, but that might just be more efficient to have AI do it, and you'll get your denial quicker. So that is hopefully not a solution. There are many other solutions to stop fraud, waste, and abuse, but I personally, and I see a lot of people in here that agree with me that they do not want some computer deciding their medical, their health. So hopefully he goes through actual fraud, waste, and abuse, and hopefully he doesn't, do the same thing he did to Social Security in these tweets recently. One thing that is definitely going to be on the block, it was under the previous President Trump administration, was Medicaid, anything welfare based. So we're talking welfare in terms of SSI, and people think SSI. No, SSI is not welfare. SSI is supplemental security income. A lot of people confuse it with SSA. SSA is the Social Security Administration administers SSI, which is the welfare based program, but it is a welfare-based program, low income, low resources for people that are disabled or aged 65 and older. And that is definitely under the new administration and the Congress. They're looking at cutting Medicaid, the Affordable Care Act. There's already a lot of news out there about all that. SSI, food stamps, Section 8 housing, and all the rest of it. What happens is but that will directly affect Medicare for millions of people as well, because there's a lot of people that receive Medicaid from their state. And if their Medicaid stops, they just might lose Medicare, because there's a program called the Medicare Savings Program. So if you or someone is having a hard time paying that $185 for the Part B premium, they reach out to the state, file the Department of Social Services, Department of Welfare, whatever the case may be, and apply for Medicaid. And then you ask the state to pay for your Part B premium. So you have Medicaid and Medicare, and you also have the extra help with the prescription drug, and you get your retirement benefits or disability benefits, or maybe SSI on top of it. There's different variables. But if people lose their Medicaid, there's going to be a lot of people that says, well, I'll go without health insurance because I can't, afford the $185. And if they lose that, they will also lose their Medicare Advantage dual eligible plan. And for people with Medicaid, Medicare Advantage dual eligible plans, or those are the ones with the extra grocery cards and stuff like that. They're kind of advertised in a kind of a scammy way, but they do exist. So I always recommend Medicare supplement plans. So that way you keep the original Medicare, and then you just add the Medicare supplement, plan N or G on top of that. People with Medicaid can't get a Medicare supplement. So the only alternative is Medicare Advantage, which is fine. It's better than definitely nothing in most circumstances. So if you need help, you can obviously reach out to my partners there at Chapter, and they can help you out with all that. So we need to keep an eye, and I'm going to keep an eye on all this. And hopefully Elon Musk and his team goes into Social Security and actually makes it more efficient. But I don't think you're going to make it as efficient as you just need staff. People need, when they call, they need to be someone to pick up the phone. And that's the real issue. So we definitely need to reach out. Here's the Capitol switchboard. You could reach out to your senators, representatives, the president, and say, hey, we're all for cutting, fraud, waste, and abuse. We're all for efficiency, but make sure that's actually the purpose of what you're doing, and just don't start all these crazy headlines and use it as a cover to start cutting things that we actually need. So that is, and smash the cap to save Social Security, improve customer service, and ask your politicians what they are doing to protect Social Security, so so the cuts won't happen in the future. Right now, there are going to be cuts. As of right now, about 2033 or 2034, about 21% cuts as of right now, because the trust fund is slowly being depleted. If some of the things that happen that the current administration wants to do, then the cuts are going to come sooner, about 2031, and they're going to be deeper cuts. So we definitely need to reach out to our politicians and make sure they do the right thing. All right, let's move over into some of your questions. Looks like we got tons of questions, and I am just going to jump. 6.5 million people on Social Security without 112. This is fraud. No, I did a video. I watched the video I did yesterday. Those are pneumodents. Those are not pay records. Though, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it's again, it's a distraction. We keep falling for it. The real issue is the Social Security Trust Fund, and then people aren't paying their fair share like the rest of us in the FICA. But the people that are in charge, these politicians, don't want that as a solution because them and their buddies will have to pay Social Security like the rest of us. So they don't want that. So they trump out these. They bring out these fake stories about 6.5. That's been around for over a decade, and it's not correct. And we keep falling for it, and we get distracted, and we need to be smarter in that. So let's be smarter in that. If I start my own Social Security at 62, can I still get my husband's full amount of Social Security if something happens to him? He started SSDI at 61. He's the highest earner. Yes, you can get 100% of his benefits if you start those benefits at your full retirement age. And because he's on SSDI, his benefits are not reduced. He's getting his full benefit amount. So if he continues to get SSDI and he doesn't switch to regular retirement or anything, which I'm sure he won't, but he'll just continue to get SSDI. And then if you are your full retirement age at that time, then you'll get 100% of what he was receiving, minus your own. You're always, so there's always that. I'm sick and will be 62 in November. Plan to take my Social Security. Anything else I can get to help me? Um, so yeah, if you have to be 62 the entire month. So if you were born on the second or the first, you're good. But any other day, then you will start your benefits in December, and your first check will come in January. They always pay a month late. And anything else, unfortunately, Medicare won't start until you're 65. But number one is make sure you check your earnings record, because that's how they determine how much you're going to make for the rest of your life. Is you go into your earnings record and check to make sure those benefits are what you paid into Social Security is correct. And are you entitled to any other benefits from a spouse, a divorced spouse, a deceased spouse, or anything like that? Make sure you check all that information as well. Tweety Bird, thank you so much for the support. You guys are awesome. And it looks like we've got some people that joined the Tweety Bird. Yes, thank you so much. And one of our regular viewers there, Stacy. Wow, nice donation. I appreciate it. Sam, welcome. Venkat, Nini, thank you for joining. We appreciate it. So people will subscribe, and then they also become members and supports the channel, and we really do appreciate it. Okay, I always like to answer negative ones too. I like the negative ones. More clickbait. I hate clickbait. I agree 100%. It says Musk has officially taken control of Medicare. He's been blocked from messing with stuff and has been ordered to delete anything that may have gotten already. But didn't you see another report today there where they're trying to make Doge and Musk under the Presidential Records Act, which can be destroyed? So if he gets that type of control, remember he was always talking about there should be no need for a Freedom of Information Act request, a FOIA request, because we're going to be 100% transparent. And that's what he said before they got power. And then as soon as he gets power, he's like, oh yeah, no, we're under Presidential Records Act. And so for you can never see anything we do behind the scenes. So yeah. And yeah, so there's that. Take and took. Hey, what's up? When investigating for fraud and abuse, you give forensic accountants access to the records, not an adolescent encoder who was fired from a job because of sharing corporate secrets with competitors. I have fired many Social Security employees for accessing records they should not have. In Social Security, they are very, very strict. You have to go through the FBI background check and all the rest of it, and your access is monitored. In my office, we used to have a lot of celebrities come in, and anytime a celebrity came in, the Social Security employee that helped that person had to send me an email that says, hey, we just had this celebrity come in. And so I accessed that person's record because it would show up as a red flag. If people came in and they had the same name or the same maiden name as you had to notify me that, hey, I just came. I was very lucky. I had a very strange, weird last name. Weird. Anyway, not many people that I helped were named Weir, but if people that are in our office named Jones and Smith, yeah, I used to get emails. Yeah, there's another Jones that came in, and I'm not related to this Jones. But some people that worked in my office access records that they shouldn't have, and we, as we used to say in the Marine Corps, we gave them the big chicken dinner, bad conduct discharge. But yeah, so Social Security is very serious about that type of stuff, and unfortunately, these kids got access to it all, and their goal is to dismantle everything. I wish it wasn't, but you can read the playbook. We just got out of the Super Bowl. You know, playbooks are important. In my YouTube description, it has the playbook that was written in the 1980s, and this is part of the playbook, is to, start these fake stories, distract people, ignore the real solutions, and just delay, delay, and delay until the cuts are happening, and make customer service terrible. And then they come in with their knight on their white horse, and guess who that is? It's the billionaires from Wall Street that says, "Hey, Social Security has done a terrible job because we made it do a terrible job. We'll take it over." So you're not going to have the swamp drained when the charge is being led by the most immoral people. I've signed up for retirement at 62. Will there be any increase my retirement benefit for me retiring at 62? No, once you start your Social Security benefits and continue to receive those benefits, your benefits will never go up except for COLA, the cost of living, that comes out every year. And if you continue to pay into Social Security and that's one of your high 35 years of earnings, then that's how it will go up. If you stop your benefits, if you suspend your benefits and then you start it later, then your benefits will go up. But if you continue to receive your benefits, those are the only two ways that your benefits will go up. I'm on SSDI. I have dual complete. Okay, so dual complete, that is someone that has Medicare and Medicaid, and you also have a Medicare Advantage dual eligible plan, which helps out a lot of people. They're actually good plans, if they're right for you. It really depends on your particular situation. So those are the ones that again give out the extra grocery cards. And why I said it was kind of scammy is because there are companies out there, Medicare insurance agents and companies that take the best Medicare, that grocery card. It's tied to a Medicare Advantage plan. They take the best one in the country and they advertise it to the whole country, where it's not available to the whole country. It's only available to that one little small area. But then you call in and say, "Yeah, I want that $500 grocery card and the free ice cream and unicorns and hair transplants and stuff." And they say, "Well, sorry, it's not in, it's in one zip code in West Virginia. You're not there." But then they got you on the phone and they start giving you that hard sell. So, but those cards do exist. They do exist, but it really depends what is available in your particular neck of the woods. So you can reach out to Chapter and they can help you. Let me see. I was supposed to get a call from Social Security today at 2:35, and I'm still waiting. They didn't wait for my money every week for 52 weeks. Yes, that is that. And again, call your politicians and say, "Hey, what are you doing to make sure this doesn't happen again?" I had to wait on the phone for 3 hours. Again, Social Security, the staffing is at a 50-year low. And again, that is a decision politicians have made to keep you from getting your money. So when people say their benefits have not been cut, ask Jeff. He had to deal with this, and people are getting their benefits cut because they have to wait longer for disability. They miss months. Survivor benefits, surviving children, retirement. Yeah, it's people are getting shortchanged, as unfortunately. So, so you had an appointment, and maybe the person, the claim specialist, is just behind. Hopefully, in my office, we never missed an appointment. So, unless the lights went out or something. But anyway, I would reach out to them, call the 800 number again, and try to reschedule. But yeah, or contact your politician and say, "Hey, I need help with a federal agency. What do I need help with? I need them to keep their appointments. I need to make sure." I want you, local politician or federal politicians, whoever your senator, congressperson in that particular district, they're responsible for that federal office. They're responsible for that customer service. So contact them and say, "What are you doing to improve customer service?" And don't let them give you some BS about fraud, waste, and abuse, or telework. Fraud, waste, and abuse exists, but it's not going to help customer service. Telework, if you send all the employees back to the office, fine, whatever, but it's not going to improve customer service. I guarantee it. I 100% guarantee it. So, why are you so afraid of Elon Musk? All those years you worked for the Social Security, one of the largest offices by your emission. By my mission? Yeah, sorry. Did you hear that? No. Are you afraid you're going to get caught? No, I'm not. As I said, yeah, go in there. I'm sure he can make it more efficient. I certainly hope he doesn't make it efficient by having AI decide your health care. But yeah, if he had good solutions, why did he start that BS story as soon as he started talk about Social Security and these duplicate numbers and billions of dollars being paid out on duplicate numbers? Yeah, I mean, he should have come out and says, "Here's fraud," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I agree. This particular thing is we need to address this particular thing." But he didn't. He immediately came out with a false story, so that doesn't give me any. Yeah, this is just the beginning. Yeah. Let's see. Maybe some guy with a computer chip in his brain will decide for everyone. Yes, maybe. A lot of people are going to be hurt by these cuts, especially the Social Security is their only income. Yes, millions of people, unfortunately. That's why I want, go in there and get the fraud, waste, and abuse and, make it more efficient, but do it with kids' gloves because, Elon Musk, if he misses $2,000, a month, no big deal. He's the richest man in the world. He doesn't care. So, but there's a lot of people watching right now. If you miss your Social Security check, then for 1 month, then that's not good. That is definitely not good. So if him and his kids go in there and start pushing buttons when they're not supposed to and start doing things like that behind the scenes, and now I guess we can't see what's happening behind the scenes because he's protected or he's trying to be protected. Yeah, he just needs to be very, very careful. That's all I'm saying. Be very, very careful. And based on his tweet yesterday, he is not being very, very careful. Hello, hope all is well. Yep, every day above ground is a beautiful day. I'm 59 and a half on SSDI, called Medicare about plan N and G. They said I was too young, not eligible till 65. What are my options for supplemental insurance? Medicaid says no. Okay. Yeah, that's the one of the unfortunate parts. That's one thing I wish they would fix. Is when you are under 65 in most states, there's a few that are different, but in most states, if you're under 65, you cannot get a Medicare supplement plan. And that is laws by those particular states. Some states like, New York, Connecticut, they allow people under 65. And if you're receiving Medicare under 65, that means you're on disability. And that's why those companies don't want to be able to provide you a Medicare supplement plan because you're on disability and you're going to cost them more money. So it's all about money. It's all about money. So yeah, unfortunately, I guess in your particular state, you can't get a Medicare supplement plan. So your only alternative was the Medicare Advantage plan. That changes when you turn 65. So when you turn 65 years old, you can apply for a Medicare supplement plan and there's no health underwriting. They can't deny you no pre-existing conditions or any of that stuff. So, but unfortunately for now, you can't. However, that last word you added in there, Medicaid. If you're on Medicaid, you can't get a Medicare supplement plan either. So if you're on Medicaid and Medicare, then you can't get a Medicare supplement plan because the logic goes is that a Medicare supplement plan pays for things that original Medicare doesn't. And if you have Medicaid, Medicaid pays for that. So if you get a Medicare supplement plan and pay, like a plan G and have to pay $100 a month, that company just basically makes $100 free money because they don't have to cover anything. So that's why you can't get a Medicare supplement when you have Medicaid. So, will you still get food stamps when retirement age comes around? And what is the current retirement age for SSI and SSDI? And does health insurance continue over as well? Okay. All right. The SSI is the welfare-based program. You can get it, anytime based on a disability. SSDI is is the Social Security disability insurance. So there is no retirement age. But in terms of retirement, it is 62 years old, and it depends on when you were born. The full retirement age for people that turn, that are 1960 and after, born 1960 after, are 67 years old is the full retirement age. Let's see. Be smarter than that is not going to happen. The dumbing down of Americans started decades ago and really increased in the Reagan era for it. Yeah. But the people that watch my channel, my regular viewers, know this stuff backwards and forwards and upside down. And they're our Social Security core that goes out there. And I mean, regular viewers know how many hundreds of millions of dollars we found for people because they didn't know benefits were available to them: disability benefits, retirement benefits, spouse benefits, independently entitled divorce spouse benefits, surviving spouse benefits, Medicare, Medicaid, the Affordable Care Act. People watch my channel and they watch it not only for them, and they say, okay, look, all right, I listened to Ed and I listened to him drone on for 2 hours here, and I'm good. But now let me continue listening to this guy and see if I can figure out to find some money and benefits for that lady down the street that is struggling, or the waitress at the diner, or something like that. So that's why people watch the channel on a regular basis, which is awesome. We've got a great core. I would say an army, but since I'm an old Marine Corps guy, I'm going to say a core. I find it amazing how many people in their 60s have no clue about retirement works. I retired at 58. It will not change a thing. At about 40, I started learning all I could about retirement. Yeah, a lot of people that just, yeah, you got to admit the whole thing is just way, 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 way too confusing. Way too confusing. And people, they have lives to live. And yeah, they should, yes. I can't tell you how many times that I when I worked at Social Security, I was preparing for my 9 o'clock retirement appointment, and I would go out into the lobby and I'd call the person's name, and I'd say, "Mr. Smith," and Mr. Smith would come in there, and it seems as though they just started preparing for retirement while they were waiting in the lobby for me to call their name. Yes. So, yes, I agree. People need to be more prepared. As a divorced spouse, if you claim your spouse benefits, if you make more than him, can you still get his spousal benefits? Well, make more than him. It's over the high 35 years of earnings. So if you make more than him now, that's not relevant. It's based on your PIA, your primary insurance amount, which is your benefit amount at your full retirement age, and it's compared to his benefit amount as his full retirement age. So it's over the high 35 years. So if his benefit amount is twice as much as yours, then yes, you're entitled to benefits on his record. But you have to file for benefits on your own record first, and then file for benefits on his. Um, so let's see. And the exception to that, as regular viewers know, there's exceptions to exceptions. The exception is that of survivor benefits. You do not have to file for benefits on your own record first if you're filing for surviving spouse benefits. Jen, I'm new. Hey, thank you for joining us. Thanks for your help. You're welcome. I waited for SSI for 7 years, but when I receive SSI, they told me I cannot get back pay. Is that right? Yeah, it really depends on your particular situation. SSI is the welfare-based program. The max you can get on SSI this year is $967. So it really depends when your disability began. It really depends on the date you filed and everything. But if you ever disagree with anything Social Security does, always ask for a reconsideration. It's an SSA 561 request for reconsideration, super easy. Just tell them, I think I should get more back pay, and then submit it to Social Security, and then completely different employee will look at it and see if the first employee made a correct decision. So um, I get this question quite often. Are you related to the Grateful Dead's Bob Weir? No. So I can play a mean radio. So are they going to kick everyone off disability? I certainly hope not. No, I don't see anything under the previous President Trump administration. That is one of his targets of his presidential budget during his 4 years, was going after disability. And I mean, that's in terms of, fraud. There is no real fraud in retirement. You know, 1 in a million comes up and says, my date of birth, I'm actually 67 and they're actually 62. I saw one of those cases in 20 years. So there's not much fraud in terms of retirement. You're either, you paid into Social Security and whatever. But disability, everybody can say I know somebody that can actually work and they're actually not working, or they're working under the table and stuff like that. So there is, some fraud in disability. But so hopefully they go after that. But what we see happening is that there's always a tendency to throw the baby out the bathwater. Is, saying, oh, okay, hey, we found this one, case of this one disabled person that was still working, so let's destroy all of Social Security. Oh, we found this one case of, which happens, unfortunately, one of those happened in 20 years, and when I worked, is a wife summarily dispatched her husband, put him in a 55-gallon drum, put him in storage, and continue to collect Social Security checks. That happens every now and then. Um, but we shouldn't throw out all of Social Security. And yeah, so, but those great sensational stories. Oh, we found fraud, and therefore we should get it all and give it all. It's my wife saying, Ed, you've lost your hair, so I'm going to replace you with a 20-year-old. So my wife is gorgeous, so she could get a 20-year-old, but she likes me. So there's that. Any politician who doesn't make their tax returns public is not being transparent, is being dishonest. Yeah, I think that's the first time in U.S. history that a president has not released his tax returns. Filed for survivor benefits in 2017 and was approved. GPO canceled it. Still stymied by the Fairness Act. Sent my senator an email yesterday. Perfect, John. Okay, yeah. Social Security is a 50-year low. And then the Congress and the President Biden signed that Social Security Fairness Act, which everybody knows I know is not fair, but anyway. But they didn't provide Social Security any resources to administer those 300 million cases. So it's, yeah, typical Congress. Again, that's their choice to do that because they want to dismantle Social Security. But yeah, you did the right thing. Reach out to your senator and say, hey, what's going on there? So I was on the phone for 2.5 hours, then sent me to the survey, then hung up. I did contact my senator. Perfect. That if everybody did that, all politics are local. So if anytime you get bad customer service or you do see fraud, waste, and abuse, contact the OIG, contact your politician and say, hey, what are you doing? Forget about the rest of the country, senator, whoever. What are you doing to improve the customer service at that Social Security office down the street from your congressional office? What are you doing to improve that customer service? Why do we have to be on the phone for 2 hours, 3 hours? Why do we have to wait a year for our disability claim to be approved? Why did my surviving mother have to, wait, for 4 months to get her surviving spouse benefits? Why? So yes. I got my Social Security check last Monday. Awesome. Good deal. Thanks for being here for us, Dr. Ware. You're great. Your work is greatly appreciated. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. No fraud, waste, or appeal. You're asleep at the wheel. Yeah, I said there's fraud, waste. Yes, but go after that. Don't make up stories. Go after the real fraud. My gosh. Musk it is. All right. So I've done all right things over the years for SSDI. So since there is a fox in the hen house, should I worry or go as I for 20 and do I have Medicare Advantage? Right now, you just keep on keeping on, keep on trucking, but contact your politicians to make sure this stuff doesn't happen in the future. And again, because he's trying to get completely protected, and so he can do anything he wants behind the scenes, and we don't know about it until it's too late. Please contact your representatives and tell them, yeah, that's, what's all about this transparency that he talked about this one time. The rich and powerful can't relate and don't care about those who live paycheck to paycheck. Yes, that is the unfortunate part. And again, this is a plan that they worked out decades ago, and it's coming to fruition. So let's see. Arc, hoping I won't lose what's left of my mind before this mess is over. Thanks, Dr. Ed, for all the knowledge. Yeah, I wish I could. I'm trying to find some positive stories here and stuff like that. But this next 2 years is the critical years. This is going to be the important year or so that is going to determine whether you're going to get cuts in the future or not. We've been putting, and I say this every single time. I'm not blaming Trump himself. Trump is responsible. He was president for 4 years as well. Biden is responsible. Obama's responsible. The Clintons are responsible. The Bushes are responsible. And every politician since the 1980s is responsible for where we are at today with Social Security. And you got one particular political party that says, yeah, we wanted to give it to the billionaires. That's our plan. we're happy about it. And the other political party said, no, we don't want to give it to billionaires, but they don't do anything to do it. So maybe behind the scenes, they actually want to give it to their billionaire buddies on Wall Street. And yeah, so I'm frustrated with all of them. So that's why we need to hold their feet to the fire. Mary, welcome to Silver. Join the channel. Appreciate it. Will a 53-year-old that just received a liver transplant qualify for SSDI? Is that for life? Yeah, for Social Security disability insurance, SSDI, Social Security defines disability as the inability to work. So if you're unable to work because of your disability, it doesn't matter what it is. If you are unable to work because of that disability, and that disability is going to last 12 months or longer or end in death, then 100% apply for those benefits. Those are your benefits. If you're talking about SSDI, you paid into it all those decades in FICA. So if you are unable to work because of a disability, please file for those benefits. And I've done several videos on the process of filing for disability, the tips, tricks, and secrets. So watch my videos. I've done 3 videos, make sure the medical records, that you reach out to your doctors, get the right address and everything like that. But please do it immediately, if not sooner. Don't wait, because don't say, well, when I see my doctor next month, I'll file after that, or I'll get some medical records and then no, file immediately. Go run to the computer, get off chat right now and go to your computer and go into ssa.gov and start the application process. The sooner you get the application process started, the sooner hopefully you'll get your benefits started. So if you wait for whatever thing you think you might need, then you're just delaying the process. So please, please, please get out there and get your money if you so need it. What I turned 65, how easy is it to collect my late wife's Social Security? So if your late wife, so it sounds like you were married to her when she passed away, so you had to be married at least 9 months. If it was a divorce type situation, you had to be married for the person for 10 years or longer. But yeah, you can collect survivor benefits. And here's the strategy: that for survivor benefits, you do not have to file for benefits on your own record first. So you can file for surviving spouse benefits on her record and get those benefits. Don't touch your own. And then you just let your own benefits continue to increase. And then in the future, sometime before the month or before you turn 70, then you switch from surviving spouse benefits to benefits on your own record if there's more money there. So, and at that time, to collect surviving spouse benefits, if it's a divorce type situation, you'll need the marriage certificate and divorce decree. If you were married to the person when they passed away, you probably already received the $255 lump sum death benefit. That's I know it's embarrassing. That's why I've partnered with a group that can help you with burial insurance, because that $255 just obviously doesn't cover it, because it doesn't cover anything. I've given out hundreds of thousands of those lump sum death payment, the $255, and nobody's ever said, "Oh, this is going to cover it." It's embarrassing. So. Let's see, jumping around here. Are there any additional monetary benefits allotted to veterans that just served a 4-year contract? Follow up if yes. Yeah, when you file for Social Security benefits, it depends when you serve. They do give you kind of a little bit extra credit for those particular times, but yeah, it's not much, but hey, it's yours. So just tell Social Security when you file for benefits that you served in the military from whatever time. Focus Lady, welcome to Gold. Eunice, $10 support. Jay Stone, $10. Thank you very much. You guys are awesome. I have my coffee IV for the week, even though I obviously don't need it. But Lifeline government employees say, what shouldn't be an audit? No, I said, you're not listening. So some selective hearing there. You need to check your speakers there, buddy. I'm almost 57. Since 2014, I have had 6 back surgeries, 3 fusions. Okay. I was approved for SSDI in 2015. Should I be afraid? I live on disability. Nope. Just keep on keeping on. You might receive those continuing disability reviews. Don't sweat those. When you get it, fill it out, complete it, make copies, return it. Don't sweat it again. It's just part of the process. And then remember, when you turn your full retirement age, your benefits switch from disability benefits to regular retirement benefits, and you're no longer limited to work limitations. You no longer get those continuing disability reviews and all the rest of it. So, Yeah, so I'm keeping an eye on this, and if anything looks like it's, you know, very suspicious, then please call your politicians. Please call your politicians and tell them your situation and said, "Hey, I depend on this money. I don't want you messing with it." So that's probably your best thing. Elizabeth, all BS. Receiving federal pension for 10 years and Social Security system did not recognize me. They were not concerned for 35 years. They had been deducting it from my paycheck. Receiving federal pay, oh, okay. So you were part of the OPM, and, so you did not pay into Social Security. You were part of the old CSRS, but the new Social Security Fairness Act just might apply to you if you did pay into Social Security in any other place than federal employment. Let's see. My 70-year-old mother hasn't been to the doctor for a year. Copays are too high and her check was cut for Medicare. All right. So, Angela, thank you so much for taking care of your mother and coming here and asking a question about that. So copays are too high. So she's having a hard, if is she making over $967? If she's making under that, make sure she reach out to Social Security and file for SSI, Supplemental Security Income. Watch a video I did about a month ago. It's the title of it is Living on Social Security Alone. I go through 50 different programs that just might help your mother out. Medicare assistance programs, Medicaid, financial assistance, electrical assistance, and stuff. So watch that. The title is Living on Social Security Alone. I've done like 3 or 4 or 5 videos. So watch those. If you watch one of my earlier ones, then it's my earlier ones when I was just doing YouTube and the introduction was way, way too long. So I apologize for that in advance. The muskrat can never be POTUS, so he's going to manipulate Trump to do his bidding. Yeah. So goes our Rasputin type thing, right? My husband retired with CalPERS and I have not retired. We are getting a divorce. Can he get ex-spousal benefits? I paid in Social Security. He did not. He was the higher income. Yes. If he never paid into Social Security and y'all were married for 10 years or longer, you get a divorce, then he could very well be entitled to benefits on your record. It's not going to affect your benefits, obviously. And he can file and you probably won't even know. So yeah, he is entitled to benefits on your record if you are the higher income earner. So let's see here. Jumping around a little bit. If a spouse is on SSDI and 64, can the spouse file when they are 62 if their own SSI will not be half their spouse? You mean regular Social Security? Yes. Yeah. If you are, so you're approaching 62, and you're on, okay, your spouse is on SSDI and you're not receiving anything. Yes, you can file for benefits on that person's record. You have to file for benefits on your own. And um, then if it sounds like your benefits are less than half of his or hers, so yes, you will be able to receive those benefits. Yes, but you'll have to file for benefits on your own, and then benefits if the difference between the one half of the other. Um, Vicos, $5 donation, appreciate it. And ask the question: what are the rules about contributing to an HSA once your Part A Medicare begins? The rules, this is not a Social Security rule or a Medicare rule. That's why when you go into Social Security, they often give you wrong information about this because it's an IRS thing. When you start your Medicare Part A, you have to stop contributing to an HSA, the health savings account, 6 months before your Medicare Part A starts. And again, Social Security doesn't care because it's not their issue. It's about the IRS. You and your buddies at the IRS. The IRS gives you a tax benefit because you're contributing to the HSA. But when you have Medicare Part A, you can't get that tax benefit. So I get people all the time, they go into Social Security to file for Part A, they get it, and then they get a nasty letter from the IRS the year after that says, "Hey, we gave you, $13.57 of, tax credit, but you had Part A, so you have to give us back." So yeah, you cannot contribute. You can have an HSA. You can have an HSA and a Medicare Part A. You can withdraw funds from that HSA with no problem. You just can no longer contribute to it anymore because you're losing the tax benefits. So My full retirement age is 66 and 10 months. I want to start my benefits January 2026. Let me get rid of this thing down here. People sometimes don't like the annoying thing. All right, my full-time age is 66 and 10 months. I want to start my benefits January 2026, but I make 5,000 in December. How will this amount impact my check? Okay, so my full-time, okay, yeah, to do okay, let's say in 2026, you're going to be your full retirement age that year. So that year you can make for this year it's $62,160 in the months before you hit your full retirement age. Once you hit your full retirement age, you can make $1 billion a month. It doesn't matter anymore. So, but if yeah, but the previous December, that $5,000 doesn't matter. Any money you make before you start receiving your Social Security benefits doesn't matter. So if let's say you start your benefits in July this year, and from January till June, you made $1 billion and you want to start your benefits in July. You're like, wow, that's way over the 23,400 I'm allowed. Social Security doesn't care. They can switch you to a monthly test. They will ask you, starting July, are you going to make more than $1,950 a month? And you say, no, I made $1 billion up to June. We don't care about that. Are you going to make less than $1,950 starting when you start your checks in July and for the rest of the year? Yes, I'm going to stay under 1950 because I gave up my $1 billion job. I said, okay, we can start your benefits. No withholding, no $1 for every $2, any of that stuff. So a lot of people miss that and they lose benefits because of it. What about a plan B in case Congress cannot raise a cap for Social Security? Yeah, there are many, 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 many plans. The raising the cap solves 73% of the issue going forward. It solved 100% a few years ago, but every year we wait to start it, it solves less. But you can go into my description in my YouTube channel, and it has the Social Security actuary. It's like a spreadsheet. It Anytime any politician comes up with this great idea, I know a way to save Social Security, and then they send it to the Social Security actuary. The actuary pulls out their big calculator and they said, okay, here's your idea, congressperson, da 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 da. It's going to solve 2% of the problem. It's going to solve 50% of the problem. So in my Social Security description, it has the Social Security actuary report, and it has dozens and dozens and dozens. So if they don't raise the cap, then they'll have to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this other thing. What's off the table theoretically is the president said there are going to be no cuts, and he's not going to raise the retirement age. So the only alternative is to raise taxes. But when politicians say, well, that's the only alternative, cuts or raise taxes. Okay, raise taxes on who? Because you and me, 99% of the people out there probably don't make over $196,100. And so if you make under that, you pay FICA tax on every dollar you make. If you make over that, you stop paying taxes, FICA taxes on over that. And so that's the solution. But yeah, these politicians don't want to do that. And therefore, yeah. And please like the channel. We may have to live together in group situations to pool what income we have to be able to need. Yeah, wow. I lived with a bunch of Marines for a while, and that's not a beautiful thing. So to live in with a whole bunch of people you don't know, especially that are addicted to protein shakes. Anyway, if you do complete all the information online accurately, you'll be approved right away. My birthday was on August 17th, and I got approved within 2 weeks. Yep. Yeah, if your earnings record and everything is correct and you're filing for the right benefits, are you sure you shouldn't have filed for disability or survival? That's what a lot of people miss. But if you did everything, it's correct, then yeah, it's a beautiful thing. But remember, China Bob 17, this is not about you. You got your service, you got in there good, everything was correct with you. But we need to think about other people in our community, the homeless people, surviving spouses and children, and the disabled that are not having an easy time like you. So yeah, we need to think about other people. Be careful of anyone who says they are going to fix everything. What have we not learned anything? Yes. So let's see. Never once did or has Trump said SSI will be dismantled or people will lose aid? Be real people and just stop. Again, SSI is actually he has SSI. He wants to stop SSI. If you Nor if you're talking about SSI, supplemental security income, the welfare-based program, he has talked about that. But I assume you're talking about Social Security, SSA. Um, so the cuts are not going to happen. So when he says, I'm not going to touch it, I'm not going to cut it, that's a good answer, but it's also a terrible answer because Social Security needs to be addressed. Because if it's not, then the cuts are going to come automatic, not during his term. It's going to come during the next presidential term. And we need to do something now. Actually, we need to do something 20 or 30 years ago. But yeah, there's that. So if he's not going to do anything, if he's just going to say, oh, I'm not going to cut your benefits or raise the retirement age, I'm just going to invade some Middle East country and y'all worry about the cuts later yourself, that's not a solution. So administration is moving way too fast without much forethought. Scary. Yes, that is a fact. Yeah, I mean, we like speed. Yes, we like speed. They've had decades to figure out, what to do with Social Security and everything, but they're not taking those recommendations. They're just, oh, look, I look at this thing and it looks like they're duplicate Social Security numbers, and I guess therefore ipso facto, people are getting paid incorrectly. No, there's a difference between the Numident and the MBR. Come on, Elon, call any office in the country and talk to anybody and say, hey, I'm investigating Social Security. Can you tell me the difference between a Numident and an MBR? Which one gets paid? How does a person get paid? Do they get paid on the Numident or do they get paid on the MBR? And then people will say, oh, they get paid on the MBR. Anyway, come on. My dad was a long distance truck driver, and the truck driver joke was, hey, make sure you check the air in the fifth wheel. All right. So I guess that's, hey, Elon, you need to check the air in the fifth wheel. Anyway, what are the rules? Oh, okay, I already answered that one. Good afternoon. I'm turning 65 next month, and Chapter helped me enroll for Medicare Part A and Part B. I found from Social. Okay, awesome, good deal. Yeah, Chapter's doing an awesome job. I'm glad I teamed up with them. I didn't want to get into that type of stuff, but people, I help with survivor benefits and, Medicare Part A and Part B, but people need help with the supplements and this and all the rest of it. So yeah. Let's see. Musk's own brother. Oh, okay. Yeah. We don't want to go personal attacks. Yeah. My husband was on Social Security disability. He died a year ago. So I have been getting his Social Security. Will that be cut now that I am a surviving spouse? I was on disability before he died. No, if you remember, a lot of people miss this. If you are on disability benefits, you're probably still on disability. If you're under 65, your Medicare still continues because you're on disability. What happens is you're on disability, you're entitled to spouse benefits or divorce spouse benefits or surviving spouse benefits. And what happens is those are added above and, one offsets the other, but they're added on top of your disability benefits. So you are probably getting disability, surviving spouse, and because you're under 65, probably, because you're still getting disability, your Medicare will continue. So a lot of people are giving up that extra money on spouse or surviving spouse benefits. And they're like, yeah, there's an extra $200 or $300 out there, but I don't want to give up my disability because I'll lose my Medicaid or Medicare. No, that's incorrect. So please reach out to people that you know. Too many people are struggling, but yeah, you're good. Yeah, so good lucking. You're right. Nothing has even happened to SSI, so just keep fear mongering. No, SSI. No, SSI, again, if you're talking about supplemental security income, the welfare program, people are being affected by SSI right now. People on SSI, how difficult is it to get anything done? How many people on SSI got overpayments because they sent in their work reports to Social Security, and Social Security doesn't have the staff to process those work reports, and therefore you got some nasty overpayment that now you're like, but I reported to Social Security when I started to work, and I made a little bit of money, and yeah, sure, my benefits should be offset, but I told you all that. And now I got this $500, $1,000, $5,000 overpayment because of it. So Nora, you're 100% incorrect. I just watched the the chat here, and people on SSI or SSDI that have got overpayments because Social Security didn't act fast enough, educate Nora, please. Let's see here. So many senior citizens living in their vehicles right now. It's heartbreaking. Yes, yes. And if you know anybody like that, reach out to them. Make sure they're getting their Social Security benefits or retirement benefits. And there's a lot of people that, another thing that people are missing. If you are a spouse, you are married to someone for 10 years or longer, there's a lot of people out there that don't realize that their ex-spouse doesn't have to be receiving benefits yet. As long as their ex-spouse is 62 years old and you've been divorced for 2 years, you can get what's called independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. You don't have to wait for your ex-spouse to start benefits. There's too many people out there that are just sitting around there losing money every single month because they think their ex-spouse has to be receiving benefits. So Corky, another donation, support. We appreciate it. I think 99% of this money goes to my son. He helps out. And so this is, for coffee for me sometimes, maybe a beer. I'm one beer weir, so one beer a year does it for me. But yeah, my son appreciates it. Received Form 1099 from 2 stepchildren. Biological mom passed, but we have completed 2024 taxes. Do we need to amend? Wow, you finished your 2024 taxes already? Holy cow. I think that's a record. Yes, it's definitely, I don't do taxes. I stay away from taxes, but that's kind of pretty much a kind of a no-brainer. But those are 1099 for your stepchildren. So I would reach out to your tax person and say, will that even affect your amount? Most people that are just receiving Social Security benefits alone don't even pay taxes, don't have to pay taxes. They, some have to file, and some people don't even have to file. So I would reach out to your tax person and see if it's necessary. Mama Salty Winch. I like it. My retirement age is 67. I'm way over time here, so this will be the last one. My retirement age is 67. Will they keep me on disability until 67 or give me retirement at 65, which is earlier for me? They will switch your benefits from disability benefits to retirement benefits at your full retirement age. Most people don't even realize they've been switched because the benefit amount stays the same. Your direct deposit stays the same and everything. But remember, the one thing I would definitely recommend is when you turn 65, check out a Medicare supplement plan and see if that's, a better route for you. Because for most states, when you're on disability, all you can get is a Medicare Advantage. And some people would rather have a Medicare supplement plan so they don't have to deal with the prior authorizations and the limited networks. So when you turn 65, reach out to Chapter or whoever and say, hey, tell me about the Medicare supplements. How much does it cost? What are the benefits? Yada, yada, yada. And if it's not for you, then it's not for you. But at least check it out because that's possibly your only time to actually check it out. So, all right. We'll go last one since we got another support here. Please address Social Security's supplemental income maximum benefit, and if any raises it in 2025. Channels are saying a $300 raise to SSI. Now, there was a raise, $10, $20. This year, the maximum SSI you can get is $967. However, there are some states, like California, I know is one. There are some states that do an SSI supplement that you get a $967 plus they give you an extra $200 or $300 or $400 or something. So maybe that's something. But in terms of Social Security coming from SSI, supplemental security income, no, there's nothing on the horizon. There's a bunch of politicians that want to do that, and I think everybody, retirement and I think COLA increase should be at a lot more. I think people on SSI, should definitely get some more there. But as of right now, no. So another internet myth. So, all right. I will be back again tomorrow. So if I didn't get to your question, I apologize. I'll try again tomorrow and see what the topic of the day is, and then I'll answer